My mother didn't scream when she tore the letter. That's the part that still gets stuck in me. Not the sound of the paper. Not even what she said after. Just how calm she looked while she was doing it. Like she was folding laundry or trimming fat off meat at the sink. My name is Teresa Davis, and I was 18 years old when I understood that people can ruin your life very politely. The envelope had been hidden under the bathroom rug for less than a day. I kept thinking about that while she tore it. How stupid it was. Like maybe if I'd hidden it somewhere smarter, none of it would have happened. She had it laid flat beside the dish towels when I walked into the kitchen. Friday afternoon. The house smelled like bleach and onions. My father's work boots were by the back door, leaving black dust on the linoleum again. The television in the front room was on low, one of those courtroom shows my grandmother watched without actually paying attention to. My mother was folding towels. She didn't look at me. "Bathroom trash isn't private," she said. I remember staring at the letter before I looked at her. M-I-T across the top in red. Already opened. Already read. My stomach dropped so fast, I actually grabbed the chair for a second because I thought I might faint, which is dramatic, I know. I wasn't a dramatic person then. Maybe I still am not. But my body reacted before my brain did. "I was going to tell you," I said. She folded another towel. "Were you?" Not a question. I started talking too fast after that. Full scholarship, housing included, engineering program. I heard myself sounding desperate and hated it immediately. Like I was pitching something to her, selling myself. I kept trying to make it practical, reasonable, cheap enough to deserve existing. She finally looked at me then. I think I already knew. Some part of me had always known. My mother picked up the letter carefully with both hands and tore it straight down the middle. Slowly. Not angry. Worse than angry. Then again. 4 pieces. My grandmother didn't turn around from the television. My sister Maddie froze halfway down the staircase with one sock on. Somewhere out in the garage, my father was pretending not to hear anything. "This is not who we are," my mother said. That sentence sat heavier in the room than the tearing did. Because she meant it. That was the terrifying part. She believed she was saving me. Or saving herself through me. I still don't know which. By dinner, Aunt Carol was there. Nobody called it an intervention, obviously. Families like mine never called things what they were. They just assembled in kitchens and talked in circles until you either submitted or left. The torn pieces stayed on the table all evening beside an untouched applesauce cake. Like evidence. "The eldest daughter stays," my grandmother said for maybe the 4th time. My aunt nodded immediately. "That's how it's always been." I remember wanting somebody to yell. I wanted someone to slam a fist down or cry or admit this was insane. Instead, they discussed my future the same way people discuss roof repairs. Practical. Annoyed. Decided already. My mother kept folding things while they talked. Dish towels, napkins, one of my father's shirts. Maddie wasn't allowed at the table, but I could feel her standing in the hallway listening. Nobody asked what I wanted. Not once. And the humiliating thing is, I still tried to convince them. I hate that now. I hate how badly I wanted permission. At around 1 in the morning, I went downstairs barefoot and collected the torn pieces from the dining table after everyone had gone to bed. My mother had left them there on purpose. The house creaked constantly at night. Pipes knocking, refrigerator humming, my grandmother coughing into tissues in the front room. I locked myself in the bathroom with Scotch tape from the medicine cabinet. I sat on the tile floor in my pajamas, piecing the letter together while trying not to cry loudly enough for anyone to hear. The tape kept sticking to my fingers. There's something pathetic about repairing your own future at 4 in the morning. I knew that even then. But I kept going. The scholarship sentence ran across 2 strips of tape. I smoothed them down carefully with my thumbnail anyway. At 4 a.m., I packed a duffel bag, 3 shirts, jeans, toothbrush, SAT prep book, cash I'd hidden in an envelope from babysitting. I left a note for Maddie under her pillow because I couldn't bear the idea of her waking up and thinking I vanished without saying goodbye. When I came downstairs, my father was in the garage pretending to fix the Buick again. The engine parts were spread out on a rag, untouched. He looked tired, older than he actually was. We stared at each other for a few seconds. "Your mother loves you," he said quietly. It irritated me immediately. Even now it irritates me, because it felt unfair somehow, like love was being used to excuse damage. "I know," I said. He took $80 from his wallet and handed it to me without counting it first. That part almost broke me more than the tearing did, because he knew, and he still wasn't stopping it. I took the money anyway. That matters too. People always want clean victims in stories like this, noble ones. But I took the money. I left him there to deal with the fallout. Part of me was relieved it would become his problem after I got on the bus. I walked to the station in the dark, carrying a broken strap duffel while my breath came out white in the cold. The bus smelled like burnt coffee and wet fabric. I sat by the window and watched Pottsville disappear 1 block at a time. When we passed my street, I saw the kitchen light on. My mother standing at the sink holding a mug. I still don't know if she knew I was on that bus. For 7 years, we barely spoke. I built an entire life in Massachusetts out of exhaustion and stubbornness. MIT, research labs, cheap apartments with radiators that hissed all night, cafeteria eggs, panic attacks before exams, working until my hands shook from caffeine. Sometimes I hated my mother so much, I'd rehearse arguments with her in the shower. Sometimes I missed her so badly it physically embarrassed me. Both things existed together. That's the ugly truth nobody likes talking about. You can understand someone and still never forgive them. Years later, after my grandmother's stroke, after my doctorate, after the startup money and the silence and all the strange, empty holidays in between, I found my mother's own college acceptance letter hidden inside the family recipe box. Taped back together, same careful seams, same kind of damage. I sat on my apartment floor staring at it while the kettle screamed in the background because I'd forgotten I'd turned it on. My roommate eventually shut it off without asking questions. My mother had once been 18 too. She had once wanted to leave. And somebody had taught her staying was the same thing as love. That knowledge didn't heal anything. People think revelations heal things. Mostly, they just rearrange the pain. I went back home 7 years after I left for my grandmother's 80th birthday. 30 people in the living room, folding chairs, dry cake, forced laughter. My mother wearing an apron like armor. Haley, Maddie's little girl, was sitting cross-legged on the carpet, playing with a plastic horse, while the adults talked over her head about tradition, about staying. I watched my grandmother raise her glass and say, "Our girls, stay close." Everybody toasted, except me. Except Maddie, though hers hovered halfway before she put it back down. That tiny movement almost made me cry. I didn't argue. I didn't make a speech. I just knelt beside Haley and laid the taped MIT letter on the carpet between us. "This was mine," I told her. She touched the browned tape carefully with one finger. Then I put the trust paperwork on the coffee table. Money for any child in the family who wanted school someday, boy or girl, didn't matter. The room went so quiet, I could hear the refrigerator motor kick on in the kitchen. My mother looked at me like she wanted to slap me and hug me at the same time. Honestly, I think I looked at her the same way. Before I left, I told her, I taped mine too. Her face changed when I said it. Not dramatically, just enough, like something inside her had finally gotten tired. I still don't know if we'll ever really speak again. A few months later, Haley mailed the letter back to me with a crayon drawing of a building that had her own name written across the top, and a note Maddie wrote for her because she was too young to spell it herself yet. I'm done with this one. I'll write my own.